pretty much the main pathway is looking toward back from turtle. Okay? Obviously there's a lot of things we can do from here. I could have me switch to a crucifix, for example. I start to tuck my knee inside, and now I've got a few more upper body attacks in terms of chokes, arms, arm bar, near side arm. But for this, we'll just have a look at sort of attacking the back and a pathway to do that. Main thing from turtle, which I see a lot of people do, is they start to stand up here, they start to kind of look for hooks, or try to punch a hook like this. Not really a good idea, taking all the pressure off my partner. He's now free to roll, he starts to retain guard, and now I kind of end up back in this position. So when I'm in turtle, best thing to do if you're not sure is just put your chest on your partner's hips, ideally. Okay, resting your weight here, put a knee behind the butt, and then my left knee just beside their left knee, okay? So now at least if my partner does a near side roll, quite easy for me to just pull the hips back, and now I've got my side control, okay? If he was to do a fast side roll, I could easily just switch, and now I end up in a leg drag position, okay? So either way he rolls, I'm kind of ready for that. If my partner starts to, tuck everything in, so I can start to fake kind of putting my hands in here for upper body grips. If he tightens his arms and knees in, block off the space, this is perfect. I'm just going to cut my partner's hip, okay, like this, use a false grip on the hip. I'm going to move away, okay. I can hold the wrist if I want to, so his arm can't flare out. Otherwise I'm just going to post my arm, I'm going to separate, move away, and just pull my partner down to a hip. Okay? And I'm kind of circling towards the shoulder. From here, we'll just look at a couple of grip variations we can use. Okay? First one would be a seat belt. So depending on whether we'll say he falls to a shoulder, so I can always block the elbow too, and then pull back again, and actually put him to a shoulder myself. From this position, very important, number one, I lock my seat belt. My seat belt's just going to go over the bottom shoulder here. I'm going to drop my chest below the top shoulder, and I want to pull this in nice and tight, and I'm driving this arm a little bit deeper now, to go out to that top shoulder, keeping my chest pressure forward. My left knee, I'm going to start to sort of walk that up underneath my partner's head, and I start to put a bit of pressure this way, kind of pulling his top shoulder up to my chin. Now I can start to step over, and I'm going to start to put my first hook in. Right? I'm going to elevate. To take it back from here, I basically just fall to my right hip. Okay? So my left foot here tucked in, I sit back, pulling my partner up, okay? And now I sit across. My right knee, I go knee to heel first, I pull that up under the armpit, going heel to heel. Depending on length of legs, obviously I can settle for a body triangle here, otherwise heel to heel is fine, okay? Just bring your bottom chin, your chin to his bottom shoulder. Again. We're here, chest on over my partner's hips. I'm going to shift away and pull, okay? Ideally getting into a shoulder. If he does post on the elbow, we'll deal with that in a minute, but I can just tap and kind of push him down, alright? From here, I'll lock up my seatbelt over the bottom shoulder, okay? Like this, chest pressure behind the top shoulder. I slide my knee up, sit back, my hook can now come through, and now I sit to my right side, okay? From here, heel to heel, or body triangle, right? So we start off with that. Is there any questions at all? No? All good? Alright, thank you. Cool. A couple of things are still going on. I had some people pulling on the lat here. I'm not going to be able to break them down to the hip if I try to pull this lat, okay? I'm just sort of shifting his shoulders across. I need to be pulling the hip sort of in a circle, okay? Almost like, again, as Tommy was saying, bowling green, trying to get that ball almost towards the knee, okay? So it should be coming around in line with his knee. That's where I'm trying to pull his hip, okay? And my knee here, sort of blocking his knee from widening initially. Alright, so I'm sort of blocking that in, lock, and then as I pull and shift away, I'm keeping that same posture. I'm not pulling him. If I leave my knee here and then pull, okay, like this, now he's sitting on my leg. I can't move my leg anymore. Okay, now I can't really put my top foot in. His back's almost too far for me to reach. Quite easy for him to just sort of roll to his back and roll out of this. So my hips need to be higher than his hips, okay? So as I shift away and pull here, okay, now all my weight presses down through his hip. Okay, I don't want to make this easy for him to just roll out. I can even punch my fist down to the floor to block his bottom leg, okay? He can't like just roll up onto his bottom leg, it actually makes it harder for him to get up. And then my knee here, I just close my knee to my elbow, put a bit more weight through his hip. Okay? So now he's kind of a little bit stuck. We'll go through just a grip change if he kind of posts up onto his elbow. So a couple more grips we can use to go to the back. Number one, we can use the figure four or a Kimura trap, okay, on his top arm. That's another variation you can use, especially if he hits like lands on his bottom shoulder. I almost prefer this over the seatbelt grip, okay? Because now if he tries to roll towards me, I can kind of straighten my arms. So I squeeze my elbows together and kind of suck him back right into this position. And now from here, it's exactly the same as what we did before, stepping over, right, and then sitting back across. If your partner, comes to here and they just roll towards you, okay, you're just going to go straight into what Tommy was showing before. So, knee on the hip, his elbow's already in position, start to work up, okay? So that's easy if your partner rolls towards you. We're going to look at if they either stay here or start to shift away. So if he posts up on an elbow and kind of just hangs here, I'm going to go my right arm. I'm just going to try to go under the armpit and grab that far shoulder. Okay? Pretty common is maybe going to defend the neck here. Alright, so just go straight under, grab that far shoulder. My left hand here, I'm going to go through and just grab that hand or wrist. Okay? I want to now start to kind of drive my partner forward. So I pull the wrist and hand towards me and start to actually punching through, driving through onto that shoulder. Okay? My right leg here, I'm going to just start to drive my knee across the leg. And up to you, you can go straight away and put your hook in, or you can thread it through the middle of the legs, hook or grapevine his top leg, and then start to actually flatten the hips a little bit. Not very comfortable for your partner. So now when he tries to move, quite hard, okay? And then you can start to shift up. So left knee comes up, I start to work higher, and now I just go exactly the same thing, do a chest to your butt, shift across to that far hip. Alright, just remember here, you want your chin ideally nice and tight, okay, to your partner. Don't sort of let it hang out here. Once I got my top grip here, I'm going to trap the arm. So I punch the top arm straight, and then my top hook here, okay, I'm going to bring it over, pinch down into my partner's hip, okay, and then my bottom hook, I'm just going to cross over the top, okay, and then pinch my knees. I'll pull my left arm out, my top hand now, I'm just going to get wrist control or hand control, pass it off to my underhook, okay, I'm going to flare that all the way out, my chin, and make sure I bring it to that bottom shoulder, and now I can use my knuckle here, so I can try to bring my thumb and my index finger. I'm just going to start at my partner's jaw. Okay, so I kind of dig that knuckle in to the side of my partner's neck, and I start to work under, and I can start to pry the jaw open here. Okay, so I start at the side of the jaw first to open up the neck. Obviously, if you want to kind of use hand on the forehead, the forearm, some people even go forearm under the nose. But I like to use the knuckle here, start to go on the jaw. As soon as I find that jaw, actually pry the jaw open, and then I'll shift my thumb and wrist. Okay? Once I've got wrist under, I can then start to go deep. Alright, so I go to my shoulder, And I'm using my chin here to block that bottom hand, right? Obviously, he doesn't have any hands free at the moment, so he can't really pry it open, but if he does slip that top hand, or the bottom hand, okay, now he's going to try to grab. So I kind of want to use my chin there to block that, right? To finish, you can go one arm, so I kind of just cup the back of his shoulder here, pull my left elbow in, and I use my shoulder and head to actually push his neck forward. So I pull my elbow back, use my head here to finish the squeeze. If you can't finish and you need this bottom arm, I'm just going to flare my elbow open, roll forward, okay? And now I've got the angle where I can actually punch that through and behind. Once I've got that through, my hands and my knuckles should be on the back of his head, and I'm just going to squeeze. Alright. So again, turtle. This time I pull my partner down, okay, and he lands on this elbow. So I'm just punching bottom arm through to the shoulder. Wrist control or hand control. Drive them forward. Okay, if you want to just go hook straight in and then slide your knee up, this is fine. Okay. From here, I'm just going to sit to my butt, pull my partner across to the hip like we did before. Only difference now is I'm trapping this top arm. So I punch it straight, heel, okay, to the hip. And if you just want to stay heel to heel, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll cross my bottom foot over, okay, like this. Now I can let go, grab your bottom hand, and I'll pass it off now to my underhook. Knuckles, index knuckle here, start to draw. So just dig it into the neck here, pry it open a little bit, and now I'll slide through. Okay, trapping or protecting my hand with my chin and jaw. Now I can finish one arm, or if I want to, I can actually open up my elbow here, roll forward, and now I'll punch that arm through. Okay, squeeze, and then finish. Right, so everything we're kind of doing now is just turtle, straight to the back. Right, that's our goal. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any questions on that one? A few smiles. Yeah, it's probably going to be some questions.
Can we see it one more time?
Yeah, sure. Again, we're here. Alright, I'm just shifting away, keeping the same posture. So I'm pulling my partner to a hip. That's always going to be our first move for any of this, alright? At least I know if I pull, I'm going to get some sort of reaction out of him, some sort of opening, which I can then attack. Right? That's the whole goal of this. From here, we're going to go under the armpit, far shoulder. You can also go near shoulder, you can also go over the shoulders. Okay? Just basically grab the shoulder. Once I've got that shoulder, bottom hand, drive forward, okay? Start to slide your knee up. Now from here, you can either step over, or you can kind of spread your knee along your partner's thigh and just get that hook in. Doesn't matter if it's between the legs, doesn't matter if it's across the hip, okay? Now I sit across. As I sit across, and then now trap the arm, so I punch it straight, trap, arm comes out, switch to the bottom wrist, now I pass off my underhook to that hand, and now I start to beat through the shoulder, okay? Once I've got my hands to that bottom shoulder, I can squeeze from here to finish. Or you can open up your elbow, come up, and then punch your arm behind. Okay? And then finish. If I try to just sort of dig my arm in from here, okay, or if I just take it out and then start to go, I'm at a weird angle. So I have to kind of come up, roll forward first, and now I can kind of find that space for my second arm. Alright? All good on that? Yeah, right, let's give it a try. 3, 2, 1. So again, this is just one pathway you can use. I'm just trying to give you one pathway that you can use to get to the back. Okay? Not trying to overcomplicate the position. So again, everything's going to lead off this false grip on the hip. Someone was just asking before, can you go super deep with this grip? Not ideal, you can, but if he gets that far wrist, or even elbow, you can then start to do a far side roll. If I'm not quick enough to kind of get my knee up and around as a wedge, if I'm a little bit delayed here with he rolls, okay? End up losing that chest to back position, and head down, he can end up on top. And then Which he would do. So again, I want to not have the elbow like past the hip line. Ideally, I kind of want to keep that back. At least then if he goes to a wrist trap, I just shift it back. Alright, I've still got my grip on the hip, yep. So again, I go for that hip pull or off balance as I shift away. Alright, now he ends up in the same position. Alright, so now he starts to roll straight back to his knees, which is common. Alright? Like I said, if he just rolls ops for his back instead, rolls towards me, you're just going to literally go straight to his position you just showed earlier. Okay, so straight to your head and arm. If he stays here, okay, you've got your core grip and your wrist control that you can use. Otherwise, feel free to still go with your seat belt or your Kimura, breaking down to the shoulder, and you can still take it back quite easily this way as well. Right. The other scenario obviously now we're going to look at is if he tries to build height back up. So again, I'm putting all my weight on this hip. So you can, if you want to, you can punch your knuckles to the ground, use that as like a post, and put all your weight through your knee, okay? Or if you want to, you can just use your forearm here and block the hip like this. As long as weight is running through his hips, that's what we want, okay? You're going to remain fairly close. As he starts to straighten his bottom leg like this, that's the easiest way for him to get up. You're just going to turn your left hook or your left foot towards your partner. Okay, so it's just going to sit against his hip here. As he starts to climb up now, you slide your hook in, okay? This arm on his hip, you're using that for him to like drag you up. So your weight goes through. As he gets up, he drags the hook in for you. Okay, so don't try to like force it in. He should be dragging. If he's not dragging, you know you don't have the right grip or pressure on his hip. Once you've got your knee hook in, right, now we're looking for diagonal control over the body. So I don't want to not have a grip on this side. So the first thing I should be going for straight away is like wrist control or some sort of underhook, ideally wrist control. Right, so I'm going to grab that wrist straight away. If I don't, and I just sort of hang here, he starts to tuck his shoulder under, right, and now tries to roll through. I've lost my back control. So once I've got my hook in, so I've got this hook in, grab that wrist, okay? From here, again, a couple of options. We're just going to look at one option. So, most common, he does a far side roll, okay? So two things from here. Number one, he does it first, which if he does, I'm going to post my hand, my head, I'm going to pretend I'm rolling through this space here between his neck and shoulder. So I'm throwing my head down and trying to get my chin to his shoulder here. My right knee, I'm trying to bring it up and basically touch it to his tricep. So it would look like this. My head goes down, my knee comes through, my left hand grabbing around his neck and trying to get his shoulder if I can, and I'm just pulling him across. And we'll end up in this seated position. Okay? I roll all the way, I can stomp on that top leg, and now we end up on the back. Okay? So that's like number one, just practicing following your palm through that roll. So same thing, off balance, weight through the hip. As he starts to come up, I let him drag, I put my hook in. Wrist control, as he rolls, my head goes under, my knee goes up, and I'm practicing going to this seated position. Now I'll roll, get my shoulder grip, and then stomp on the hip, heel to heel. If he tries to block this, okay, you're just going to lock up the seat belt, lock over the hip, extend out, and just work your heel to his hip like this, okay? Now you can push, and now you can put your hooks in. Only other thing from here, if you want to force the roll, so that's if he rolls, if you want to force it, it's no different. You do exactly the same thing. Only change is as my knee drops, my left knee points to the ceiling. And I start to straighten his leg. Now you can see, that acts as a lever to pull in, okay? I end up same position, same grip, roll, okay? And then heel to heel. So it's no different whether he rolls or whether I roll, the only change is what I do with that left leg. If he rolls, I don't need to use my left leg because he's already rolling for me, okay? But if I roll or force it, I still go down because if I'm following him, my right knee still comes up, okay, above his shoulder. Left leg now points to the ceiling, and I just start to straighten. Okay, left shoulder, pull him across. Okay, heel to heel. All right. Good one to practice because it's probably one of the most common scenarios you're going to encounter. It's all about timing. Okay, so a good one to drill. One more time. Hip, pull over, weight through his hip now. Okay, I'm looking for that space. I slide my left foot in, let him drag me up. My hook's in, and my hips are off him. Wrist control. And now my head goes through this space here. So I come forward, knee comes up, roll through. Okay. And then if I want to force him to roll, wrist control, same thing, head goes down, and now use his left knee here, straighten the leg, shoulder, and then finish, okay? Any questions on that? All good? All right, last one, 3, 2, 1. Go.